Hey, what is going on, guys? I am Multi-Fate, and these are re-uploads from my previous channel, so I hope you enjoy. And if you're new here, again, please enjoy the what if, and hopefully this doesn't get copyright struck.
Hey yo, it's Tyro, and today we're going to talk about a what if that was my very first one, and I should probably continue it because it's been sitting as a cliffhanger for the past 10 months. So this is what if Izuku had a nine-tailed Quirk part 3. I'm finally going to continue it. Thank you for 300 subscribers. Thank you for 300. We're actually, at the time of me recording this, 315, and it's been 3 days. So hello, I'm Monkey D Tyro, and please enjoy. The black portal appeared inside the USJ. All the students looked at it in fear. Mineta asked one of the teachers if this was part of the test. Aizawa told the students to get back. As Koyagiri, the creator of the black portal, released a bunch of villains inside the USJ. As one villain with a hand on his face, and tealish hair commented, "Hey, isn't All Might supposed to be here? Why don't I see him?" As Koyagiri looked around. Well, those must be his students, right? As Koyagiri began to create portals around, he then attacked the students. Every student that was near each other was sent to a different location. With Izuku, Tsuyu, and Mineta being teleported to the shipwreck zone. Without understanding what happened, they did have to get their bearings. Izuku stood up. That's odd. As Tsuyu would ask what's going on, as Mineta was freaking out. Izuku then replied, "They must not know our quirks, huh?" As Tsuyu asked what he meant by that, he said, "Well, my quirk can definitely work in water." As Tsuyu would say, "Yeah, so can mine," and as Mineta was still crying. Izuku then explained his quirk to the others. "It's called Tailed Beast. I can summon an aura which allows my strength, speed, and endurance to get enhanced. And depending on how many tails is depending on my strength. For example, 1 tail is the weakest, and 9 tails, which I have never gotten, is the strongest. I can also make this tail form around my hand, creating a black ball of destructive energy, which is what I call my Tail Beast Bomb. Although it only stays in my hand. I never really made it go fly anywhere." Tsuyu explains her quirk, and Mineta will explain his. Midoriya looked down as a lot of the villains were swimming around the boat. "It's either you come down here, or we're just gonna destroy the boat," one of the villains stated. Izuku then began to think, if we just had enough force to jump out of here, I could probably go down there and stall for some time. As Izuku was going to jump off, Mineta would grab his pants. "You can't do that. We need you. Besides, you can just stay here and wait for All Might, right?" As Izuku would think about a few hours earlier and how All Might wasn't gonna be here because, he was sick, quote unquote. Izuku began to think, there has to be a way to send it, right? As Mineta would question Izuku began to think, what's the best way to create a ball that can fly? As Izuku finally got his idea, spinning it rapidly, which means that he had to be in a two-tailed state at least. Izuku powered up, and since the highest he's ever gone is 3 tails, 2 tails was somewhat easy. He then created the black ball of energy and rotated his tails at a rapid rate. He then told Tsuyu and Neta to get ready, as Tsuyu said that she could probably jump here to the main water. We just need more force. As Izuku said, that's what he's gonna give her. There. Izuku then tells her at the count of 3, jump. And they count down from 3, which obviously means Tsuyu does jump. As Izuku's in the air, he then yells flying-tailed beast bomb as he releases the spinning ball of black mass, sending it flying directly towards the villains. Because this ball was spinning rapidly, a small whirlpool, a huge whirlpool was formed, which also made Mineta throw a bunch of purple balls at them for them to get trapped. They eventually do make it to the main area, as you see Aizawa fighting off a bunch of villains. They look around as Izuku does deduce that they didn't know his quirk, because a lot of people are in areas that, well, their quirks are the strongest at, and a lot of people in areas where it didn't really make sense for them to be there if they did know their quirks. So, you know, a lot of people got lucky, a lot of people got unlucky that day. The man with the face on his head looks at the trio across as he smiles. Well, it must be a bad day for you 3, as begin to walk closer. You know, I could just send him to get you, but I'd rather kill you myself. As you went to go touch Tsuyu, pause. He went to go touch Tsuyu, as Izuku would then tell him to back off, basically. And he creates another tailed beast bomb, sending it directly for, sending it directly for the man with a hand on his face. Then he yelled, "No moo," as a giant black beast. Wait, hold on. As a giant black beast somehow appeared in front of him, eating away his. Izuku was confused. It didn't even look like he got scratched at all. Tsuyu and Mineta do eventually get away, but Izuku looks at Aizawa. He looks beat up, as Aizawa told him to run, and as the man with the hand on his face began to go on a monologue how this was created to kill All Might. As then, Izuku hears a familiar voice. "Yeah, right, like All Might would lose." As Izuku looked across the field, it was Bakugo, getting ready to send him a barrage of explosions. But it did not matter, as the Nomu was able to tank it. Izuku and Bakugo would then regroup across the battlefield. As the man with the hand on his face looked at the duo. "My name's Tomura Shigaraki. I'm only telling you this as our relationship's gonna end today." Izuku scoffed. "Relationship's gonna end today, huh? Like you'd win." And Izuku went into a 3-tailed state, and Bakugo's explosion gauntlets glue. "Looks like they're ready. Are you ready, Izuku?" As Bakugo and Midori laughed at each other. As then, they sprinted full force at the Nomu. The Nomu sprinted full force at them. Their fight only lasted 5 seconds, but it was almost like it lasted hours to them. The Nomu charged head first with a right hook, aiming straight for Midoriya. Bakugo then released the pin on one of his gauntlets straight for the Nomu. which did some damage, only for a little bit, as it was revealed the Nomu had regeneration powers. Midoriya then sent an upper kick to the Nomu's jaw, sending him flying into the air. Yeah, but still, it didn't look like it hurt the Nomu at all. While he was in the air, Bakugo released the second pin on the gauntlet, blasting him in close range. I kind of forget what happened. And the Nomu was blasted, and it did take some damage. As it was regenerating, force of habit, Izuku charged a tail beast bomb on its hands with all three, rotating him with all three, and launching himself towards the open wound as it was still healing. He then released it, and the open wound got just worse. But still, the Nomu was alive. Right, as it healed itself a lot faster now. It then charged at Bakugo, grabbing him by the ankle, and pretty much Broly style, he was slamming him from side to side. Midoriya did try and stop this, but every single time he attacked, it seemed like it didn't phase the thing. Izuku then realized that his 3 tails went to a 2 tails after he did that tail beast bomb, as he can only do a certain amount depending on the tails he had. And also, the amount of power behind it must have drained him. The Nomu then flung Bakugo into the air. And while in the air, he pretty much drop kicked Bakugo into the wall, which was a long flight for Bakugo. Slamming against the wall, Izuku ran up to check if he's okay. As he saw it, Bakugo was bleeding out of his nose, his eyes, his mouth, his forehead. He is just all bloodied up. Luckily, he is alive, but Izuku does not know this. As his skin began to tear, his voice, it seemed like there was another one behind it, and it got deeper. His clothes began to burn away, as his skin was replaced with a red-like substance. His eyes, instead of being the normal green, went white, as his face went black and his mouth went white as well. This was his 4-tailed state, and he charged directly at the Nomu as he deemed it the villain and monster that should die. Instead of his normal attack style being trying to be similar to a fox, which means he did a lot of hooks, a lot of his main attacks were hooks. It almost like he was a fox in this way. As he didn't run normally, he ran on all fours. Kind of dumb, but he ran on all fours. Instead of using his hands for the tail beast bomb, he pretty much just used his mouth while screaming it. And the Nomu, it's almost like it didn't stand a chance, although it was lucky. The downside to this form is that Izuku couldn't think straight. He only cared about dealing damage instead of finishing it, which means the Nomu could get out of this fight alive as long as it played its cards right. But it was almost as brain dead as Izuku right now, so it was only a 50-50 shot. Izuku's first strike was a left hook, aiming for the Nomu's right side. Because of this, the Nomu's right arm was torn clean off, as Izuku then yelled "Tailed Beast Bomb" with a demonic voice. A giant black ball, way bigger than normal, was shot at the Nomu, as had to block itself with his left arm as his right one was still regenerating. All the upper skin of the Nomu was peeled off because of it, but the muscle was still there. The right arm was halfway from regenerating when Izuku then grabbed the upper parts of both arms and tore it off, leaving the Nomu armless. Or should I say, de-armed. Laugh. The Nomu's kind of defenseless. It wants to run away, but it has orders. Izuku then did a sweeping kick, destroying its legs. Pretty much its ankles are torn clean off, and now it cannot walk properly. Midoriya got point blank range range and then shot a tailed beast bomb. But Kodagiri made a portal right in front of Izuku's mouth, aiming directly for him, well, behind him at least. Izuku was shot in the back by his own attack. As Kodagiri then made a portal for the Nomu to retreat in, and so it can regenerate, which it did finally. Izuku looked at the Nomu with only rage in its eyes. As Izuku went up for pretty much a slashing right hook, the Nomu did a left hook, so their pretty much Izuku's claws, quote unquote, and the Nomu's fist would clash. Because of this, the ground beneath them began to shake. But Izuku was a little bit stronger, tearing its arm off again. And it began to scream in pain, as Izuku then did a left hook at its throat, making sure it can't speak. Izuku was about to deal the finishing blow again if it wasn't for Kodagiri getting in the way and making him shoot himself. Izuku then tried doing a left hook at Kodagiri, making him, trying to do a third Kodagiri, but again he made a portal, making Izuku hit himself. The Nomu eventually got used to Izuku's fighting style and adapted, which was a bad thing for Izuku, as the Nomu at this point was beating on Izuku relentlessly. Every single time he got him on the ground, he wouldn't stop punching. And then he flung Izuku close to Bakugo. Now, the four-tailed state has disappeared into the three-tailed state, and Izuku is butt-ass naked. So, yeah. But luckily he's face down. Yeah. Izuku looks at Bakugo as he realizes he's still breathing, and Bakugo gets up, telling Nomu he's still ready to fight. As he looks at Izuku, telling him to get some clothes on. Izuku then raises a hand towards Bakugo. You have to beat him, okay? I can't. And apparently can beat All Might, but as long as we can beat him, All Might can be safe. Let's save the number one. And as Bakugo gave Izuku a high five. Unknowing to Bakugo and Izuku, this changed something. Izuku gained a new power, the ability to share his own abilities. As Bakugo walked away, the light shined on him, causing Izuku's aura to finally stop being transparent. Bakugo now had a one-tailed state, only it was way fainter. Normally when Izuku has it, it was blood red, but for Bakugo, it was more like a bright pink. Bakugo didn't notice it though, and Izuku did. And this blew his mind. And he wanted to see if he still had his own powers, but he just had the two-tailed state. Bakugo walked up to the Nomu, pretty much slow walking, trying to drag it out as much as he possibly can. And as Tomura Shigaraki commented how dramatic Bakugo was trying to make it. Bakugo then ran full speed, but he was way faster than normal. Hell, even faster when he's at his top. Bakugo then released an explosion at the Nomu's face. But his explosions were way bigger than normal. This was even more powerful than his fully charged gauntlet blasts, as he liked to call them. And he started to get excited when he looked at his hand and realized this was Izuku's power helping him. But he didn't really mind it as much. Even though they're gonna save the number one, he did prefer it to do it with his own strength. But this is second best, as he's still technically gonna beat the Nomu. Bakugo began to start flying in the air, as he then sent a blast on Nomu's torso, sending him flying directly up into the air. Bakugo kept Nomu into the air, as he seemed to have an unlimited amount of stamina. Then he created his first super move, as the Nomu sent flying to the ground, down, smacking onto the ground, as Bakugo would then yell, "Howitzer impact." He pretty much began to rotate his body at a rapid pace, and sending a very supercharged blast. Half of the Nomu's body was pretty much burnt up into ashes and unbearable. But luckily, Kurogiri kind of gave it an enhancing drug. As Tomura then looked at Kurogiri, "We're supposed to do that at very, very specific circumstances." As Kurogiri replied, "Well, it's gonna die either way. We want to make sure when All Might gets here, he has to fight it." Nomu began to heal itself rapidly. The muscles began to expand, and to an unreasonable amount. As Bakugo commented and laughed, "Looks like they're compensating for something." As Bakugo clapped his hands together, he then yelled, "Tail Beast Explosion!" As instead of the bright yellow flashes of light he would normally create, it was a very dark black. The Nomu that was supercharged and was supposed to kill All Might was now gone into ashes. Bakugo then fainted as the power was just too much. The one-tailed aura then left Bakugo's body and went to Izuku's. It was changing his two-tailed to three-tailed again. Izuku didn't want to turn it off, as just in case he needed to help Bakugo, he could be there. Tomura then yelled, "That's not fair! They cheated! They powered him up! That's not fair!" As Kurogiri told him that he might need to kill the boy. He's gonna be a problem in the future. Tomura then went to go touch Bakugo. Pause. Until All Might showed up, punching Tomura's hand away. Tomura is just even more rageful. Because not only was the #1 weapon destroyed by a teenager, now the #1 hero is there to stop their plans. Tomura then told Kurogiri that he wants to go home, as Kurogiri then replied with a "yes sir." All Might looked at Bakugo as Bakugo was unconscious, and he saw Naruto in the distance. As All Might could tell Naruto that he can rest now, as the battle is now over. And that's what Naruto does, waking up in a hospital, with Bakugo on his resting bed, asleep. Naruto laughed, as he said that today was a crazy field trip. And yeah, this is the third part that I was holding back for nearly a year. Hope you guys enjoyed. Oh yeah, by the way, this was entirely improv. Yeah, I didn't want to write this. No, I'm literally just like, I didn't want to write it. So, I hope you guys enjoyed it, though. Yeah, even though it was completely improv, like, I only did, like, plot points that were supposed to happen, and then I just improv the rest. I do hope you enjoyed it, though. Oh yeah, and thank you for 300 subscribers. I really did, I really do mean that. You guys are the best. Please, keep going. Honestly, I didn't even think I was gonna get like 100 subscribers, let alone 200 subscribers 4 years ago when I wanted to do YouTube, and especially a year ago when I started out. I did not expect to go this far, so let's keep pushing. All right. Yeah. Goodbye.